What's going on, people? Welcome back to the Baby Father podcast for a brand new episode. I'm your co-host today. I go by the name of DJ Ridler from Live Links. And I want to big up to everybody who watched the podcast with the baby fathers alongside the baby mothers. Definitely it was good feedback. Good to see the engagement and that. So I want to big up to everyone. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure you check it out, all right? So on today's show, I have a special guest. He goes by the name of Marsh, if I'm right. Yeah. Nice to meet you, my brother.
You too, bro.
So thank you for coming on. Today I'm gonna kind of just jump kind of more in the deep end. All right, we're gonna cause obviously we've got some stuff to talk about. It's the first time we actually even speaking. You getting me? So we're just gonna get into it. So
So where he lives with me, I guess just the whole inconsistency with like contact and communication, all that kind of stuff.
So how did you even get to be a full-time father? Like, what kind of happened for you to why you wanted to take full custody of your child?
Well, to be fair, it wasn't really a thing of like choice like that. I don't want to say too much because it's obviously some certain bits ain't really our business like that. But obviously, it got to a stage where essentially his mum was gonna like lose custody kind of anyway, and it was a thing of like if I was gonna have custody, if it was gonna go to certain family members or potentially even like care and that, and then obviously where he was my son, I was like 100% kind of thing, and then kind of went down that.
Was it down to obviously? I know you say you don't want to go too deep into it. Was it like more the child's well-being, how she was growing him? Was it drugs related?
No, not drugs related. More. I'd say like how she was dealing with, I guess, all the changes of, becoming a mother and those kind of things. I feel like more than...
She was struggling.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of stuff more than like, any harm to him like that, or abuse or anything like that, or drug abuse or anything like that, to be honest. I think it was just a lot of stuff like that. And then obviously where she was like... I guess like in communication with certain agencies and stuff like that. I don't think that was going too well and that kind of thing.
So when she was struggling, being a mum, obviously that's her only child she has.
At the time, yeah.
At the time,
yeah.
All right. So when she's struggling, dealing with the child itself, how did you two end up breaking up? While you wasn't around for her to be struggling.
We were like never in a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going back to the when you obviously took full custody of her son, did you have to go court for them to issue that to you?
Yeah. So like I said, it wasn't really something that I like applied for like that. If that makes sense. I was just like kind of present through that parts of the court process.
So how did it come about? Did they come and say to you?
Yeah, they contacted me. And kind of basically made me aware of the situation. So this kind of happened like before she'd even given birth, to be honest. Like, like it started then anyway. And then obviously like she's given birth and like it was ongoing until and then like, I guess I got custody of him like when he was like 10 months in it, so he was like, still pretty young.
So you took on a 10-year-old baby.
Yeah, and I was like youngish at the time as well. But yeah, that was...
So was she experienced? Obviously, I don't want to go too deep into her situation.
Yeah.
But for them to want to take the child away from her before the child is born,
I don't think like it had gone that far at that point. If you know what I mean. I think they were just kind of like looking into like,
So was she suffering from something? Like that. It sounds like. She depression or
potentially, to be honest, especially like at the time, I didn't know too much. A lot of like even information I found out, kind of like details, whereas I kind of found out at the end of the case when they gave me like the big like, court files and all that kind of stuff, and like I read through like some of the details and stuff. So I didn't really know too much. Like with hindsight, I'd say I guess probably stuff like that.
And
but I don't know for sure, to be honest.
And trying to take on a 10-year-old baby, how do you find doing that?
At the time, I was working one job where I was doing like an 8 till 8 shift in it, but like 3 days a week. So it was like full-time hours, but only in 3 days. And then obviously, so when I got custody, because of his age and obviously like allowing time to like bond and all that kind of stuff, like that job wasn't like suitable obviously to the hours. I couldn't really change it, so I left like my job. That was like the first big change, I'd say.
Talking about, bro. Talking about. Yeah. So, what kind of things do you expect from the mum, even so she's not involved, like the full time of her?
Yeah.
What is your expectations of her?
Crazy as it may, like now, I'd say like I feel like after a while, like I said, he's nearly 6 now, innit? And if I'm honest, like not too much has changed on the grand scheme of things in regards to like his and her relationship, my and her relationship. So to be honest, not much. I feel like it's better off that way. Like
when you say their relationship, how is their relationship?
Again, not really existent, to be honest. Yeah, it's been like very few and far between visits and phone contact and stuff like that.
And how does that work with a phone contact?
Again, at the moment, like not at all. When there was phone contact, it would just be, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna call this evening, blah blah blah.
And she doesn't. Or she does.
Or depends, innit? Like, but on the whole, again, like that. So it was mad. Like that, the phone call thing, kind of that happened. When I don't know, not too long ago, to be honest. Probably like between like say 4 or 5, a bit around them kind of ages. And again, obviously, where he was a lot older now, I think they had like a lot more of an understanding and he can communicate and them kind of things, if you know what I mean. So when the inconsistencies were happening then, I think for me it was a bit more of a problem, if you know what I mean. And it kind of like, it got me a bit vexed kind of thing, because obviously he's now asking me these questions and he's trying to understand things, if you know what I mean, I guess. Obviously, I don't know what he was thinking when he's 2 years old. But obviously he can't communicate that like that, if that makes sense. So now as a older child, if you know what I mean, and he's talking about these things, obviously it kind of hits you.
What kind of things is he asking you?
Just stuff like, oh, when can you go see her, or can you chat to her on the phone, or I guess those would be like the main ones. And to be honest, it's hard because a lot of the time you don't know what to say. To be honest, like from like when I've got custody, obviously there's been like on and off. At first, like the visits were like he was seeing her kind of, I don't know, say once a month, for example, but it was kind of consistent or whatever.
But was that your choice, or was that set up?
It was set by a court, but then it was kind of like between us to kind of coordinate, if that makes sense. And that was all right. And then from there, once that kind of court weren't involved and all that kind of social and contact center was done, all that kind of stuff was kind of, then it kind of just went downhill from there, innit, really.
As a father, what kind of things are you trying to put in place for him?
I guess it's just, for me, it's just about, I guess, doing the best I can, like, because knowing that essentially I can't be his mum, if you know what I mean. And, you know, just trying to make him not miss out on, you know, certain things, if you know what I mean. And from, especially now where I guess there's a lot more talk about like mental health and the effects of certain things, if you know what I mean, and like trauma and all that kind of stuff, if you know what I mean. I guess just trying to make sure that, or limit as much, if you know what I mean, I guess the effects of this kind of stuff, if you know what I mean, as he gets older. And I guess like it'll be a bit easier to tell, you know, like I said, you know, the more you can communicate and the more we talk about these kind of things. But yeah, I guess that would be like my big thing in regards to the whole situation. Mad as like I knew the situation was, if you know what I mean, once they kind of like told me what it was, like it was never really an option for me. Like, well, when it was mad, innit? When there was one stage when I think before she'd like given birth, and she was like moving nuts, like on the phone and giving me grief and trying to tell me this, that, and the third. And obviously, my stance was like, obviously, like, I wanted like a test done in it
to see,
like
said,
we weren't, you know, like in a relationship.
DNA,
But then obviously, I told her like from the beginning, like once if that comes back fine, then I'm like I'll do my thing in it, kind of thing.
I was gonna ask you, do you expect like for the mum to help you out like financially? Things like that.
I guess I don't know. For my situation, I feel like where it's obviously a lot more unique than like the usual, I guess, if you know what I mean, where obviously like the child lives with the mum and the dad's got like having contact and stuff like that. I don't know, I don't feel like I really had expectations like that from the beginning, if you know what I mean, because the whole situation was a bit mad. So I was kind of just like kind of rolling with it and kind of seeing how it goes and blah blah blah. Obviously, and because again, like where I've always like worked and kind of looked after myself to a degree, if you know what I mean, and I left like my mum's kind of early-ish and stuff like that. It was never something I was ever gonna be like, yo, listen, you need to send me some peas for rare and all that. It was just never that. Especially because also there was already issues in regards to like just contact, if you know what I mean. So it's like that's a bigger issue than you sending me money for nappies or clothes or whatever, if you know what I mean. He's not gonna want for nothing like that.
So you seem like a guy who's just kind of just being like just drama free dad. You're not really trying to bring in madness. You just want your mum, the mum, to see the son.
Like obviously at the beginning, I was like, obviously I've always kind of been, obviously man grew up around mandem and that, if you know what I mean. So obviously, if anything, I've been on like, not on like a picking sides thing, but that side of the coin. I've heard this side of the argument, if you know what I mean, of man and issues with their baby mums and blah blah blah. So are you like the man who kind of looks at it from the mum's point of view because you're a home father? I understand it a lot more, but I wouldn't say I'm from like their point of view, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, I still feel like I carry myself different to like the majority of the baby mums like in this kind of situation. but I do definitely like understand a lot more, and like I guess I'd say like respect like what they do a lot more, to be honest. The mums, than like I did at the beginning, if that makes sense. Like, what kind of things have you learnt? What you see, what mothers do, what dads don't see? I wouldn't even say it's like what they do, because I guess that that's kind of a given, if you know what I mean. It's just that the normal stuff, if you know what I mean, the school runs, the bathing, feeding, cooking, blah blah blah. But I think it's the like the non-stop, if that makes sense. Like the everyday, the everyday. Like whether you're tired, whether you're like whether you've eaten or not, whether you like all that kind of stuff doesn't matter. I feel like to a certain extent. And I think like obviously that over a prolonged period of time, sometimes if you don't have help or support and stuff, so do you think that sometime when some fathers whinge about certain things, you say there's bigger problems? Why are you whinging about them kind of things? I guess it depends, innit? Like what they're whinging about, if that makes sense. I don't know, like. And in general, I'd say like the whole arguing thing, I'd say like for dads and that, it's a myth anyway. Like if you're in that scenario when she's got custody and, you know, obviously you're trying to maintain a relationship with your child, like the reality is that may never be easy or cool if she's not cool in it. And I think that the whole energy spent on arguing and cussing and back and forth, I think it's a waste, man. It's a big waste of time, and like I said, obviously I kind of do get it from like the mum's point of view a lot of the time, like now that I'm in this situation, because it is mad frustrating, and especially if you're genuinely just trying to do it for the kid, then there's no personal thing, or you're not trying to get no one back or none of that rubbish. That it is mad frustrating because you kind of don't understand, innit, why. Has there ever been a part when you want just to turn around and say, do you know what? Bounce. You ain't going to come and see him no more because you're not showing consistency anymore. I've felt like it, but I've never said it, innit. And I've said from the beginning that I don't think I would, to be honest. Like, again, innit, I think that coming from, like I said, the mandem's kind of point of view growing up, like I think that's one thing that I've never really checked for, innit. If you don't feel that the other parent's gonna like put the kid at like harm during contact, if you know what I mean, then I don't think it's really right to say you can't see your child, like you can't see your child in it. I think obviously it's about doing it in a way that also doesn't hurt your child, if you know what I mean. Like, so if say for example, I don't know, they see the child one day, then they don't see the child for 6 months through like no fault of yours, you haven't stopped contact, boom boom boom, the child's asking, you call them, and then they see them again 1 month and then don't see them again for a year, and then like 5 years later they're like, oh yeah, if you know what I mean, maybe you might say, all right, cool, listen, this needs to be gradual, if you know what I mean. It's not good for the child for you to do the in and out thing or whatever, or find a way to kind of make it work.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should ever be saying like no in it. Unless you think that the child is gonna like be abused or whatever.
So, would you take accountability of the role that you played with the mum?
Yeah. And this is why I say I get it in it, because at the beginning, like trying to do the whole like co-parenting thing, I guess, and like really kind of finding out that she's hard work. Yeah. Obviously, like first you try not to do the whole arguing thing, and obviously, so there was that, and then like after a while, you're just like, some people just really don't get it, if you know what I mean, and you trying to understand like why they're doing what they're doing. It's not making sense. You're getting mad, and eventually, like man, doing the whole cussing thing, and I'm just telling her about herself. Even then, it's not even like I'm really just saying facts in it.
Of course,
like 9 times out of 10, if you know what I mean. But then obviously, certain times, like especially at the beginning, like I might say it in a way that I know might hurt a little bit.
So you're obviously you're throwing digs at her, looking for a response. Would we say that?
No, definitely I wouldn't say that. Because it was definitely like only if we were already like in the mix of an argument or whatever, if you know what I mean, like, and then I'd just be like, if I've had enough or I can't be bothered or whatever, I might just say something that I know, like
a trigger, trigger.
Knowing that as well, that I'm saying facts, if you know what I mean. So ultimately, there's nothing you can really say back to me, if you know what I mean.
But do you think that
wasn't necessary? Yeah,
but I think obviously you keeping it 100, and I think as parents, we kind of do know how to what buttons to press, innit? So our mum's gonna know what button to press of her dad, and her dad gonna know what button to press of the mum. If all can agree on that.
I think so. But even then, I don't really think she kind of knew
your buttons.
Like that, because she didn't really know me like that, to be honest. Like for me, what used to get me mad is just on principle. I'm saying, like I said, I don't ask you for nothing. So how are you even here chatting rubbish? Like, that was literally that was it, innit, if you know what I mean, or like giving me a like grief or calling me names, and I'm saying, nah, you're crazy.
So do you let your son stay at her house? Does his son ever stay at her house?
Not hers. He used to stay at his mum's.
Okay.
Yeah, like for a certain period of time, like we had a okay relationship and we were civil, and he was going round there like quite regularly. But again, that kind of stopped. Don't really know why. But then like when that happened, I was like, okay, like, things are kind of adding up now, if you know what I mean. And obviously I don't know her history and stuff, but when you things start adding up, so I was like, all right, cool, I'm not, the whole blame thing and that could say about accountability, if you know what I mean. I just wasn't really in all of that.
What responsibility do you take from it then?
To be honest, like I said, where I don't feel like I've asked for too much ever, really. I'd say like obviously for.
You got her pregnant, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I guess like to start off with that, innit, obviously, like sleeping with people that you don't know essentially, and haven't had a relationship with, or whatever. Therefore that each other, whatever. Met up, and then obviously done what we done, and then obviously I think she said that she was gonna like get the morning after pill, and then I think she shouted me the next day as well, and was like, oh, I didn't even get around to doing it, but I'll do it like the next day, if you know what I mean. And she's like, so, and obviously I think I knew that you can do it, but obviously you're not supposed to leave it too long and stuff. And even that, like I
3
said,
days.
Something like that. So from when she phoned me and been like, I didn't do it today, but I'll do it tomorrow, I'm thinking, alright, cool, like if she wasn't gonna do it, she would have just not told me nothing, innit? So I'm thinking like, cool, whatever. And that was literally that. And then like 5 months later,
you get the phone call.
I get phone calls. I'm saying, what are you talking about? And that was that.
So, bro, like, you don't know.
No, I did. Even
no. They won't say.
Wrapping up on that.
It's not even that, right?
Of course I did.
Obviously, you never. But you relied on her to tell you that she was going to get the morning after pill. You didn't think to yourself, let me go with her to make sure she takes it. The fact that you just bucked her for the first time like that, you didn't think in yourself like, right, this to make sure that this is 30.
We used the dom, and then the dom bus and all of that, and then...
You still went on?
And then...
you wanted to go home?
No, I don't even know. Obviously, man was young, innit? Stupid and stuff, innit? But like I said, I think the fact that when she called and said, yeah, like I didn't get it done today, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow. I don't know, innit?
Alarm bells didn't start ringing.
And just like I'm saying, like even like doing the whole single parenting thing.
Okay.
It just doesn't leave a lot of space for other stuff in it. And obviously, like, I run like a couple projects and I'm like involved in a couple projects and stuff. And just juggling things is proper hard, to be honest. So when it comes to like the whole relationship thing and that headache and that,
just prefer to put energy in your son and done.
Yeah, like more time I can't even. I tell people straight, I don't even have no time for that headache, to be honest. Like, and not to say again, like, you know, women are headache or there's nothing good to come from relationships and stuff, but that commitment.
Bro, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, man.
Because time is definitely going on us. Is there anything you want to touch on before we shut down?
One thing, in regards to that, I wanted to kind of say, and obviously it didn't like fully come through, but hopefully people like picked up on it. But in regards to obviously where my situation isn't the norm in it, and obviously like I was saying, obviously man spend a lot of time with the mandem and grow up with the mandem and stuff. Like I think one thing, kind of touching again on that whole having a relationship with like the whole co-parenting thing in it. I think a big thing is just focusing on doing your bit in it, and not really engaging in the whole
madness.
Yeah, because I feel like if that's genuinely what the mum wants and you play that role, then I feel like there aren't really many issues, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, there may be, you know, a bit of nagging here and there, but I think that's just normal, innit? To a degree. And if she's not really on that and she is trying to do the whole argument rare and raw, I feel like it's only for a time in it until, you know, the children hopefully anyway reach a certain age and they can kind of see that for themselves. And I feel like even with little man, you know, even though he's only turning 6 soon, like I've definitely noticed that he's a lot more aware than I would have thought of who's involved and who's showing up and who's, you know, them kind of things there. So I feel like it's only a matter of time where the child sees that for himself and you don't even have to be like, oh yeah, this is what the situation was, or so and so was doing that, if you know what I mean. So I think therefore like and I don't think really, you know, I don't want to speak for a lot of these guys because I think there is a lot of men in this situation that really are going through it, if you know, in regards to that, not having contact and stuff like that. But generally I feel like you know, you don't have to give no one no money, you don't have to, for in my opinion anyway, like I feel like, you know, as long as the mum can, you know, there's electricity and water in the house and she can feed your child and you know, clothe your child to an extent, you know, what else does she really need money off you for, like cash money or transfers, if you know what I mean. Those are her responsibilities as the mother or child or father, whoever the child's living with, you know what I mean. That's your responsibility regardless of whether the other parent's involved or not, in my opinion. And then everything else I feel like you can buy for your child, if you know what I mean. Like you don't have to give no money, in my opinion.
So you're saying it's more about the love and the parents actually being in that person's life is more important than the money situation?
Therefore for me, like 100%. And like I said, I've never that, you know, once asked her for money. That I don't think I ever would. And like I said, I don't think there's any need really. Obviously, you know, if you're co-parenting and you're civil and you get on like that and you've got it like that, if you know what I mean, or you was in a relationship before, then by all means, I think 100% it can be definitely helpful, if you know what I mean. Saying I'm short this month, can you help me out, boom boom boom, and being mature about it. But if it's not that, I don't think that man should feel pressured or obliged to do this stuff or be like, I can't see my child if I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. Let her tell you, you can't see your child if you're not doing X, Y, and Z, as long as, like I said, you're not putting your child at no risk or no harm and you're trying to show up. Obviously, man can do better. Like a lot of men, to be fair, can do better. But same time, I don't think it's the be all and end all, innit?
Bruh, I want to say thank you for coming on today, for sharing your story, my brother. It's good to see that a father stepped up, took care of his full responsibilities and didn't hide from it, even still it was a mad thing from the beginning, but at least you stood up to it and then you took on, so I have to respect you for that, my brother. Also, anyone who's been watching today, I want to hear your lot's views, so drop them in the comments below. Also, make sure you subscribe, like and share. What else have I got anything else to say today? Yeah. Also as well, check out the Spotify. Everything's loaded up on there now. So all audio previous shows up to now. All the shows that are on there. This one's also gonna be on there as well. So make sure you check it out, and also on the iTunes and the Apple Podcasts. Yeah. So listen, we're gonna head off now, and till next time, we're gone.